This part is over.
Darkness rises, and light to meet it.
Welcome to the Cave of Wonders. I am Lord Callous, and this is Star Wars Legends, where we dive into stories of the past. I will offer concise histories of the more significant Force-using organizations and their respective philosophies on the Force. Keep in mind, these are but legends. In the old Republic era, countless primitive worlds boasted enclaves of Force users known as Force Witches, who, as their name indicates, drew their power from the Force. Because their worlds typically had low levels of technology, Force Witches were isolated from Republic space, and many generations of witches were unaware of the existence and formalized training of the Jedi and the Sith. Therefore, most Force Witches believed themselves to be unique in their special abilities and developed their own traditions. The most dangerous were those who drew their power chiefly from the dark side. These dark Force Witches preyed upon the weak to rule their respective worlds, which they were unlikely to leave unless they seized a starship from an unfortunate visitor. Of all these cultures, the Force Witches on the planet Dathomir in the Outer Rim are among the most noteworthy. Represented by matriarchal clans, they generally took their names from the locations that they respectively ruled. These eponymous clans included the Singing Mountain, Great Canyon, and Misty Falls clans. The original Dathomir witches drew their power from the light side of the Force, and from exiled witches who embraced the dark side. Unfortunately, the exiles eventually created their own clan, the Nightsisters, and frequently opposed their light side rivals. The Nightsisters also splintered into various sects, and each took perverse pleasure in enslaving males and competing to determine who was the most brutal and dominant. Records indicate that the earliest formation of witch clans on Dathomir occurred approximately 600 years before the Battle of Yavin, after the Jedi Council banished a fallen Jedi Knight named Alia to Dathomir so that she might contemplate the living Force. At that time in history, Dathomir had long served as a prison colony for some of the Republic's worst criminals, who spent their every moment struggling to survive the monstrous rancors that roamed the planet's forests and plains. Alia used her Force abilities to subjugate the exiles and other desperate life forms, and constructed the foundation of a female-dominated society in which men had little or no power. She also tamed the rancors to do her bidding and initiated a symbiotic relationship between rancors and witches that continues to this day. Alia wrote her spells in the Book of Law, a text that was based loosely on the Jedi Code. Originally, this book of advice was intended to guide Alia's female children in the safe and sane use of their magic. Over many generations, Alia's descendants scattered and created new clans, but each clan made a copy of the Book of Law. Karana T, a Dathomir witch of the Singing Mountain clan, who became one of the first students at Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy on Yavin 4, provided the following excerpt to illustrate Alia's central message. Daughters of Alia, learn these words and learn them well, for they are the foundation that will increase your strength and keep you safe from harm. Those who suffer emotion will never enjoy peace. Those who choose ignorance will never know their own greatness. Those who yield to passion will fail to dominate. Those who fear death will never achieve pure power. Never forget that your magic must always be used wisely. Never concede to evil, lest you be consumed by it. Although Alia's message is transcribed in other copies of the Book of Law, it should be noted that each clan subsequently added its own discoveries and spells to its respective books, and that Alia's original text has been largely replaced by various interpretations. Alia's descendants further corrupted the Force into something that resembled a form of shamanistic magic. Apparently, the Jedi Council made no effort to monitor Alia's progress or legacy, for the Witches of Dathomir did not come to the Old Republic's attention until approximately 340 years before the Battle of Yavin, when the massive Jedi training vessel Chu-Un-Thor crashed on the planet. Jedi Masters Yoda, Gratin, and Wulatin led a team of Jedi Knights to rescue the ship's passengers and fought the spell-casting natives, but the witches and their rancors sent the Jedi fleeing back into orbit. Yoda eventually negotiated a settlement with Rel of the Singing Mountain clan. Yoda promised that the Republic would stay away from Dathomir until he prophesied a future Jedi would come to defeat the Nightsisters. Yoda left the Chu-Un-Thor behind, along with reader discs about the Jedi, but would not give the witches the technology to access them, because according to Rel, the teachings were too powerful. Yoda assured Rel that the Jedi who defeated the Nightsisters would share the recorded data with the surviving clans. The Great Holocron yields no information about the fate of the Chu-Un-Thor, and has so far revealed no data whatsoever about Dathomir. In fact, if the Old Republic had any records of Dathomir, it seems that all but one, a damaged computer cylinder that Luke Skywalker discovered in the ruins of an unknown Jedi Master's post-Purge hideout on the planet Tula in 8 ABY, were deliberately deleted. Evidently, the Jedi erased the records to maintain their centuries-long interdiction of Dathomir. Although the deletion of records may have seemed to be the best way to prevent others from falling into the witches' clutches, it is disturbing to current scholars that this action also served to conveniently cover up the fact that a preceding Jedi Council had been responsible for banishing Alia to Dathomir in the first place. Fortunately for historians, the Jedi Witches of Dathomir kept oral as well as written records. Despite the pact that assured the Jedi would stay away from Dathomir, there are several Dathomirian accounts that describe a Jedi-like warrior, not the one of Yoda's prophecy, who arrived on Dathomir and fought a clan of Nightsisters around 30 years before the Battle of Yavin. According to Vorin Nal, Archivist Emeritus of the Historical Council, the Jedi was Quinlan Vos, who prevented a Nightsister named Zalem from using an ancient teleportation device called the Infinity Gate, allegedly built by the pre-Republic Qua species to obliterate Coruscant. However, Vorin Nal acknowledges that virtually all the information related to this mission was drawn from a single source, a woman named Ross Lai, who claimed to be a former Nightsister in a memoir she apparently self-published 28 years before the Battle of Yavin. Efforts to confirm Ross Lai's identity or fate have so far been unsuccessful. In 8 ABY, Luke Skywalker learned of the Chu-Un-Thor and Dathomir from the aforementioned record found on Tula. He traveled to Dathomir, where he quickly realized that the witches were Force users, and ultimately assisted the beleaguered clans to temporarily defeat the Nightsisters. Since the founding of the Jedi Academy on Yavin 4, several Witches of Dathomir have successfully trained to become Jedi. Join me next time as we cover the Falanasi. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications to be made aware of future content. Like, comment, share, and as always, thank you for taking your time to spend with the Dreamwalkers.
This part is over.